back to a brand new episode of the Riff Rundown. Hope this is finding you and yours doing well this weekend. My name is Petrilli, here with my friends at Fishman for a brand new episode of the Riff Rundown. I love teaching the Beatles songs. They are so much fun. So we're gonna add one more to the list. We're gonna be learning two of us from the Let It Be album. So have your acoustic guitar and standard tuning for this one. I'm gonna be going over parts by John, Paul, and George in this lesson, so we're gonna have a lot to cover. As always, if you're enjoying these lessons, please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Really does help me out a lot. And if you want to check out all the cool Fishman gear that I use in these lessons, including the RS Spectrum DI that I use for every single one of my acoustic gigs and every single acoustic riff rundown that you've heard. Really, it's an integral part of my acoustic rig. So if you want to check that out, click the link down below and all the other cool stuff that they're working on. And many of you ask how you can support me for each of these lessons that I do on YouTube. A great way is to join my Patreon page. It's just so much fun. We're building a really beautiful guitar community. We have really fun chats and get-togethers. It's a lot of fun. So I encourage you to check that out. And if you want to buy some merch like vinyl by Petrilli and the Players and all that good stuff, check out my Bandcamp below. It's good stuff. All right, so before we get started, you know I like to ask questions, so please do let me know where you are tuning in from and your favorite Beatles album. Put it in the comments below. I want to know. Acoustic guitar standard tuning. Let's have some fun today, folks. Here's Two of Us by the Beatles. So let's go ahead and get started. Lots to cover today. So let's look at the intro here. So we're gonna use our second and our third finger to play this. We're gonna slide up, so G string with your second finger, wherever feels comfortable sliding from. Okay, but you wanna land on that 7th fret of the G string, which is gonna be your D note, D as in dog. With your third finger, grab that B note, 7th fret of the high E string, and we're gonna strike these two notes, okay, twice. So that D note and the B note, okay? And let them kind of blend into one another. Just like that. From there, we're gonna go backwards. So E string, B note, to the G string, D note, and then lift that third finger up, open E string. Just like that. So let's combine them. Here we go. Just like that. Now let's add a little speed. That's the lick, okay? Pretty straightforward and super, super fun to play. So if you are playing this as one guitar player, play that lick twice. Then we're gonna come in with the second one. I believe John's playing this. Okay, and that's gonna lead into our G chord, okay? So all that is, open D string, 2nd fret of the D string, okay, so that's gonna be our E note, E is an elephant, okay, and then to the F sharp 4th fret, and then your G chord. And that's gonna be that strumming pattern for that chord, okay? So what we're gonna do here, let's combine everything so far. I'm gonna play it slowly. So I encourage you to follow along and click that thumbs up button, folks. Here we go. So you can choose to play that G chord, okay, like this. I'm gonna give you two different ways. With your first finger on the B note, your second finger on the G note, and then your pinky finger on the high G note here on the 3rd fret of the high E string. This is going to be very important. Think of this as our pivot finger for the rest of the 3 chords that we're gonna play in the verse, okay? Or you can choose to play it like this, which is kind of how I prefer to play it. You'll see why in a second. So with your second finger on B and then your 3rd finger on G like this, leaving that first finger free because the next chord is gonna be a C chord. So notice how I'm keeping my pinky finger here on that G note. It's still considered a C note because we have that added G, and C is one of the 3 notes that builds our G chord. So play C as you normally would, okay? First finger on C, 1st fret of the B string, 2nd finger on E, 2nd fret of the D string, and then 3rd finger on C, 3rd fret of the A string. So do that, and then keep that pinky there, because we want that nice, okay? That common denominator of that G note with all the chords that are coming up, okay? So we have G. Da, 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 da. So now the next chord. That's gonna be a G over B. All we're gonna do here, folks, okay? Get that second finger, move it to the 2nd fret of the A string, that's a B. Now, don't worry so much about having that high G note in there all the time. Listening back to the album kind of sounds like the middle strings have the most priority in that particular chord. So we have this so far. Da, 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 C, da, G over B. Okay, it's just like that. Let's do it without the commentary. The next chord is going to be an A minor 7. Now remember, we're still using this as our pivot, our common denominator, that G note here in the 3rd fret of the high E string. We're going to play a regular A minor, just like this, but it's an A minor 7 because of that G note. So we have A, C, flat 3, E, the 5, and then the flat 7 of G right here. Okay, so that's how we're going to play that chord, okay? First finger, second finger, 3rd finger. Now, the strumming pattern going to be slightly different. Okay, there's a little bit more movement in that one. In context, it sounds like this. Really fun little part, okay? So that's gonna happen twice. Da, 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 da. Again. That leads us into our chorus, okay? So the chorus sounds like this. Okay, so the chorus has a G note or a G chord, a D chord, a C chord, and then back to G. In getting the timing of the switching of the chords, it helps to sing along. So when we get to the word way, that's when you're gonna wanna switch to that C chord. I'm on my way home, and then you go to the G. So I'll show you what I mean here with the timing. I'm gonna do this slowly from the end of the verse. So, on my way back home, I'm on my way home, we're on our way home. So see what I mean? I encourage you, sing along to it when you're playing that part to get the timing of the switches right. Okay, so I will sing along. Okay, so remember G, D, C, and G. Okay, and that's gonna repeat twice. I'm gonna sing it slow. Okay, from the end of the verse. Back home, So after we repeat that G, D, C, G 2 times, we're gonna strum C, going home, and then you're gonna let that G chord ring. Okay, just like that. And then we go back into that. And then we go into another verse, okay? So what we'll do here, let's do an intro, verse, and chorus together, and then we'll look at the bridge. All right, so fun stuff. So here's what's happening, or actually, no, I'm gonna mix it up. We're gonna do what George is doing in the verse, and then we're gonna go to the bridge. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, but first, let's do the intro, verse, chorus. All right, so here we go. Verse. Da 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 da. Repeat that. Da 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 da. Chorus. We're on our way home. We're on our way home. Going home. Let's do that one more time. Intro. Chorus, or verse, verse. Da 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 da. Let me know how you guys are doing in the comments. Really fun song. So what's happening here, so we have the guitars, you know, John and Paul are doing what they're doing in the verse and in the chorus, but let's look at what's happening in the verse with George, because it is very cool. So what we've got here is these little cool lines that he's doing. So I'm gonna play through all of those, I'm gonna break it up into 3 different parts. So that sounds like this. It's a nice little line. So let's first look at the first part. So what we've got here is octaves of G. First finger on G, 3rd fret of the E string. And then with your pinky finger, this is how I like to do it, 5th fret of the D string. These are both G notes. Now from here, I like to use my 3rd finger, sliding from the 5th fret of the A string D up to E 7th fret. Go back to D. Let's break that up. So here we go. Just like that. Let's do it again. One more time. The final part, we're going to slide from D to E again, resolving on G, 5th fret of the D string. Let's play the whole thing. This is part 1. Again. Now part 2, very similar, few changes in notes. Part 2 sounds like this. So let me show you how to do that. So same thing, G octaves, but this time we're gonna slide from A to B on the 5th fret and 7th frets respectively of that E string. Just like that, then resolve at D. We're gonna split that, let's do that again. Again. One more time. And the next part, okay, we're gonna slide from D to E, resolving at G, 5th fret of the D string. Okay, now let's do part 1, part 2, slowly. Part 2, part 1, part 2, okay, pretty neat stuff. So part 3, really neat. Okay, kind of a cool little line there. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna slide from the 7th fret to 8th fret of that low E string, so B to C, and you're gonna strike it twice, just like that. From there, go to the 7th fret of E, which is our B note. Then you're gonna go to A, 5th fret. This is all gonna be on the E string. To G, 3rd fret. Now with your 3rd finger, okay, sliding from the 5th fret to the 7th fret, A to B, go back to A, to G, to A, to E, no hands, Mom, okay, to G, a little bit of a pause, then go to A. I'm going to play that very slowly. Here it is. Okay, let's do that again. Just like that. Let's combine it, all 3 parts. Let's go slow. So we can't play anything fast, we can't play slow. So let's take our time, part 1. Part 2. Part 3. Let's do it a little bit faster. So that's what's happening in the verse underneath those chords. It's great stuff. So that's a little George part. I thought it'd be kind of cool to teach that. So that's what's happening in the verse. So what we have next is going to be the bridge. So keep in mind, I'm going to teach Paul's part. As far as the bridge for John, it's going to be all bar chords where Paul kind of goes back and forth. So this first part of the bridge is going to go like this. Okay, so a mix of bar chords and open chords, okay? So right after verse 2, this is where this bridge is gonna happen. So what we have here is a B flat over F. So we have our B flat here, first finger across the 5 strings usually. However, we're gonna put the 5 in the bass. Leave it to the bass player to do that. I think it's awesome, okay? So we're gonna do first finger across all 6 strings at the 1st fret, okay? So just like that. From there, you're gonna get your 3rd finger. This is how I like to play these chords because I like to keep my 2nd and 4th finger free if I need them. Okay, 3rd finger across the 3rd fret of the D string, G string, and B string respectively. Very dark, robust B flat chord with that F in the bass, okay? So again, we're gonna do this for a measure. Okay, Next chord here is going to be a D minor over A. All that means for us, so we have D minor. Those of you who don't know how to play it, let me show you. First 3 fingers, first finger on F, that is going to be the first fret of the E string. Second finger goes on A, second fret of the G string. Third finger plays D as in dog, third fret of the B string. So usually I tell you, hey, strum from the D string downward to play a D minor. However, go ahead and play the A too. So there's your D minor over A. Yes, okay? So pretty much the bottom 5 strings, ladies and gentlemen. Great stuff, okay? So that's what's happening there with that chord. From there, we're gonna go to a G minor, okay? This is gonna be our bar chord here. So first finger, third finger, and fourth finger are gonna be the ones that we need to play this chord. So first finger across all 6 strings at the 3rd fret. Again, G, B flat, and D are the notes that we need to build this chord. So first finger goes across all 6 strings, the 3rd fret. We're going to place our 3rd finger at that D note, 5th fret of the A string, and then pinky finger plays another G at the 5th fret of the D string. Strum all 6 strings. Okay, and if you need a little help, putting your 2nd finger on top of your 1st, I find can be helpful. Now for this part here, in some videos I saw he did the bar chord of A minor going up. So pretty much G minor and A minor, they're a whole step apart. So if we have this shape, we can use that same shape to get there. So we have G, B flat, and D. And if we move that up a whole step, that now makes it A, C, and E. Okay, the 1 flat 3 5 of A minor. There it is. So you would move that first finger to the 5th fret of all 6 strings. 3rd finger should be on the 7th fret of the A string, which is E, and then pinky finger on A, 7th fret of the D string. Okay, and you're gonna strum all 6 of those strings. Now, if that's too much for you right now, that's no problem. Go from G minor and then just play A minor here. Because we're gonna come back here because the next chord is an A minor 7, and all you do is lift up that 3rd finger to play that open G note, which turns that A minor into an A minor 7 because the G is the flat 7 of that chord. But say you want to stay in bar chord land, which is totally awesome, you could do that too. The A minor 7, all you would do is just lift. But that's what John does. We're going to talk about that in a second. Okay, so we're going to stick to the way, I'm getting ahead of myself, folks. We're going to stick to the way that Paul played it. After that A minor 7 that lives here, okay, we're going to play a D7. So lucky for us, we have a pivot point in C. Okay, so first finger stays on that C note, 1st fret of the B string, 2nd finger on the A note. Okay, look at that. They share a lot of notes, don't they? 2nd fret of the G string, and then the F sharp with your 3rd finger. 2nd fret of the E string, strum from the D string downward. Okay, so like that. Those are the chords. I'm gonna play through this slowly. Okay, so we have a mix of bar chords and open chords here for Paul's part. So. I'll do that again. Now I'll do a pass. Instead of playing A minor as a bar chord, I will play it as an open chord. That will sound like this. Into the verse. Okay, so now let's look at John's bridge. So one thing that he does a little bit differently, instead of putting the F in the bass of that B flat chord, he just plays it natural where the B flat is going to be the lowest note in the chord. And he's going to play it up here. So it's going to be at the 6th fret. Okay, the root is on the 6th fret here versus here. So we have this B flat that John's doing with the F, and then, that Paul's doing, and then John's is here. So, first finger across the 6th fret of all 6 strings, okay, 3rd finger on the 8th fret of the A string, pinky finger on the 8th fret of the D string and your second finger on the 7th fret of the G string. Okay, pretty cool. Now D minor over A is going to be the next one. We're not going to play it like this. We're going to play it a different way. We're going to play it as a bar chord. So how we do that, we have D minor, that's like this, okay? So as a bar chord, D minor, what you would do, okay? If we're playing a D minor, just natural chord, first finger is across the 5th fret of the bottom 5 strings, okay? Because D lives on the 5th fret of the A string. You would get your 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D string, your pinky finger on the 7th fret of the G string, and your 2nd finger, okay, on that F note, which would be the flat 3, on the 6th fret of the B string. So D, F, and A are the tonal centers of this chord. How we make this a B minor over A, all you're going to do, first finger, move it up. There's A, 5th fret of the E string. And they're pretty close together. There's B flat. Da, 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 da. Pretty cool stuff, okay? So from there, check it out, we're gonna play G minor just like we did in Paul's version. A minor, we're gonna do the bar chord 2. Now, if we wanna play an A minor 7, remember when I went ahead of myself a little bit? This is why, right here. You wanna make this A minor in this shape an A minor 7. All you need to do is, well, we need a G note to make this happen because we have A, C, and E here. To make it a minor 7, we need to include the flat 7, which would be G. All you're gonna do is lift the pinky finger out of the way, because check it out. When I do that, there's A, and now there's G, okay? 5th fret of the D string. See how we did that? Pretty cool stuff, okay? From there, we wanna play a D7, no problem, watch this. So there's A minor 7, and if I want to do D7, I'm just going to move my first finger down slightly, going back to that root on the 5th fret of the A string, D, okay? 3rd finger is going to play this A note, 7th fret of the D string. Pinky finger is playing the 7th fret of the B string, that's an F sharp. But what's great about this, okay, we need a flat 7 in this case, it's going to be C, which lives right there, 5th fret of the G string. So those of you who like bar chords, here's John's way of playing the bridge. Here we go. There it is, okay? So pretty neat stuff. Notice the difference. I'm gonna play the bridge like Paul and then the bridge like John, and folks, we're gonna call it a day. This has been such a fun lesson. So here we go, bridge Paul's way. Bridge John's way. There's our verse. Da, 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 da. Let's do another verse. Da, 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 da. Let's do a chorus too. We're on our way home. We're on our way home. I'm going home. So you'll hear that, you know, we're gonna have that intro lick show up again. We're gonna have another bridge show up again. So really listen to the song and hear the parts. And I encourage you, this is a wonderful song to play with a friend. So, you know, where you guys could like play, oh, I'm gonna do John's part. Oh, okay, I'll do Paul's part. Oh, okay, I'll do George's part. So I encourage you, play this one with a friend. It's really fun. As always, want to thank my friends at Fishman for helping me do these lessons week after week. And certainly, and most of all, I want to thank all of you. Thank you all for your support and for sharing these lessons with a friend and for being so cool to each other in the comments. We are all students of the craft, including myself. I am humbled by the instrument every single day. So as always, wishing you much success on your musical journeys. Thanks for being on the journey with me too. And folks, have a wonderful